All right, you're welcome back. You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, flight services resumed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on Tuesday, a day earlier than scheduled. Yes, now I can fly to Abuja.
Now you can go to Abuja. Just easily just go and come. It used to be, perhaps after work, I just pick my bag and I'm gone and I'm back the next day.
All right.
So it's good to have it back. All right. So airport officials say the major repairs have been completed, but work will continue on parts of the runway for the next couple of months.
Lara Folayon reports on that.
It sounded so out of place when aviation authorities announced the need to halt operations at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for runway repairs. Many kicked against this decision, saying the airport is one of the most frequently used in the country. But the aviation authorities eventually had their way. The airport ceased operations temporarily and repair work began, amid fears of a possible extension of the 6-week period. At some point, the Minister of State for Aviation threatened to resign if the airport did not reopen as scheduled. As if to prove critics wrong, the airport saw its first international flight land about 24 hours earlier than anticipated, even though minor renovation continues for some time.
Other works like the taxi way markings are still going on, which is non-critical for us. It's a routine, usual thing that would continue, and any other thing that we would see. But all of those safety-critical matters have been dealt with. The runway has been completed completely, and it's in perfect shape.
The aircraft was given a water cannon salute on arrival, an airport tradition which is a sign of honor and respect, a development that excited the passengers, some of whom were first-time visitors to Nigeria.
I think it's a very warm welcome and it's a good feeling to arrive here. This is my first visit here, so it's very impressive. It was fun arriving here and very good flight. And the people are very welcoming here, very kind.
It was nice. It's nice to be making history in an inaugural flight. We didn't even know, so it was a surprise for us. The welcome was different.
But not all the passengers were excited.
I was scheduled to land in Kaduna, and then all of a sudden I found myself in Abuja. Nobody told me that we were coming to Abuja. My driver is in Kaduna waiting for me, and my car is there. The keys to my house is in Kaduna. And then all of a sudden I just heard the pilot saying that we're landing in Abuja, and that's rather upsetting, you know, so I didn't like it. But other than that, the landing was smooth. The runway was actually smooth and beautiful.
Some paramilitary officials say they are fully prepared to begin operations at the airport.
This used to be our base before our movement to Kaduna, and we know what we lost on the first day at Kaduna when the airport started operation there. So to avoid something similar, on return here, we made sure that our bank, our evaluation officers, and all others are on place.
A number of Kaduna-bound passengers were transported there in shuttle buses as the aircraft prepared to convey Addis Ababa-bound passengers from Abuja.
The wait is finally over with the arrival of the Ethiopian airline aircraft from Addis Ababa. The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is now officially opened for business. Though the 6 weeks closure resulted in some revenue losses for government, the aviation authorities maintain that it was a necessary step to prevent a disaster waiting to happen. Lara Folayon, TVC News, Abuja.
A deep sigh of relief there.
Indeed.
The wait is over. I mean, I won by Lara Folayon there. Wale Shadare is aviation editor, New Telegraph. He's our guest this morning on TVC Breakfast. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So much to be said about the reopening of this Abuja airport. But you had an unsatisfied customer there who was not even informed that he was going to land in Abuja.
Not a happy camper.
I think I saw what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I was in Abuja. In fact, I was in Abuja on Monday, and I went through the whole facilities, most of the facilities. they're in top shape.
So you got a tour of the new facility. Good for you. We're asking for that, really.
Yes, because I needed to know, because I took an independent assessment of what they were doing. I didn't want people to tell me that the runway was ready when it was not ready. And I spoke with some of the engineers from the construction firms, and I was educated on what they were able to do in record time, in 6 weeks. And the wait is over. We didn't know it was going to be like that. And you remember the minister also put his career
on the
line, and I was shocked that he did that. But we need to live for something.
Okay, so tell us what's the appreciable difference between what we had then and what we have now. I understand there's some improvement apart from the repairs.
Oh yes, yes. Apart from the runway, I think they took advantage of the 6 weeks to also do some renovations at the airport, the ticket area, the airlines counters were being remodeled, the lounges, the waiting areas were being remodeled, and I'm sure a lot of travelers will be so surprised to see a different look airport. Like I said, we didn't know that it was going to be 6 weeks. When the federal government announced that they were going to shut the airport.
Of course, people like you cried out.
I didn't cry out because I knew the enormity of the problem we have. The runway was in terrible shape, was riddled with potholes, and was already causing problems for airlines.
But the contention was that could have been done, the repairs could have been done while the airport was still operational.
No, a lot of people argue
because it's a cash cow. You're going to close the airport for 6 weeks, and then some report came and said, okay, we've lost about 10 billion naira for that period.
I don't think we should even quantify what we have lost. I believe that human lives, life is even more important than what we must have lost. There's no way it was so painful for us to have shut the airport, but you wouldn't have even closed a portion of that runway. The runway was in terrible shape, and for 14 years we didn't do what we're supposed to do. We allowed the runway to expire, because if you build a facility, you have time that it will expire. We didn't do anything. We have alligator cracks on the runway.
Of course,
we had potholes
we've heard
on
about
the
all
runway.
of that.
So
how
it
bad
was,
it
was terrible.
Because of lack of time. Of course, the NCAA has said, you know, the cost, whatever it is justified. Going forward, how many years will it take again for repair work to go on, whether on the runway or the terminal building, which we hear work should go on there too?
I think we didn't do what we're supposed to do, because when you build a facility, you have a maintenance procedure. Did we even follow that maintenance procedure? The answer is no. Secondly, I think we need to also begin to look at building a second runway. You know, 5, 6 years ago, they mooted the idea to build a second runway, but the amount was highly inflated, 64 billion naira. But we did a mistake. We made a very big mistake. We wouldn't have thrown the baby away with the bathwater. We would have looked at it, review it, and bring down the cost. But what we did, maybe because of the outcry then, we threw the whole project. We
had a guest yesterday, Captain Pan, said that particular runway that was proposed for Abuja was actually built in Adamawa State.
No, it was
one of the states, and it was even lesser, way lesser than what was proposed for the second runway.
Yes, because for 64 billion naira, are you building 5 airports? So it was very, very outrageous. But we made a lot of mistakes. There was so much noise about it, and government was very scared to even continue with that project. So we lost that. But we should begin to look at the second runway to begin. And the federal government has indicated that they were serious, you know, to build the second runway. And this will take a lot of pressure off this runway.
Has the order been given that the second runway
The minister said so, but we need to see what they have on paper.
All right, Foladele is standing by to bring us what people are saying. I mean, they are
Have you been to Abuja?
They are really concerned about this.
I have a wedding this weekend.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to go, and I was already like, oh, I'm not about to go through the stress.
Well, it's fun
so
to
now
go
they
to
made it
Abuja
easier
by
for
road,
me.
though. Okay,
It is, but it takes so long.
It's so too long.
Okay, so let's find out what people are saying online. This is good news, of course. Timi Akegbejo says, Abuja Airport runway is ready 2 days ahead of schedule. Government works in Nigeria only when it wants to. He also says, now I ask why, because they, the government officials and rich Nigerians, are the ones who use the airport. The federal government was extra motivated. Usman Ibrahim says, congrats Hadi Serika for timely completion of Abuja Airport runway. However, be reminded infrastructure in aviation are in total decay. Caro says, they said Abuja Airport will open in 6 weeks. It opened even before schedule. Infrastructure in Nigeria can work if it affects the elites. HON says, let us see if the federal government will complete Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in the promised time like they did the Abuja Airport runway. Big Daddy says, so Abuja Airport is open once again. This is like the first time ever federal government has delivered on its promise at the specified date. And the last one here from CJ Jesse says, congratulations to the Minister of Aviation for opening the Abuja Airport before April 19th deadline.
Yes,
Wally?
Indeed, the Vice President too,
Yes.
Hands-on style really paid off.
Exactly.
So Wally, people are saying that, look, the only reason that this happened before schedule, rather, is because, you know, the elites are affected. What do you think about that?
I think I've had this on several occasions that federal government did what they did because it involved the elites. All over the world, even people say you can't shut an airport for even one day. It was a painful decision. When that idea was mooted, I personally looked at it if we could just close a portion of the runway and continue with the other, but it was difficult. We had a nasty experience in Lagos, I think about 5-6 years ago, when the runway was shut. The contractor had their equipment on that runway. An aircraft came and rammed into it, and it cost a lot of damage. Nigeria paid millions of dollars for that mistake we made. So
no, but,
I think
let me just try and look myself into this question now. In terms of the road, transportation, where it's a bit more informal, where the government can't really say this is what I get from it. The airport, the government can say this is what comes to the coffers of the government every year. So in terms of priority, the airport might just take more more attention than the road user for Faladele and I.
Yeah, for people like that.
I think for the first time in many months, I saw where 4 government agencies work together. And I feel that if we apply this type of synergy to every area, this country will be great. I saw the determination of Federal Ministry of Works and Transportation, the Security Agency, Ministry of Aviation, and all the agencies working together day and night. I was really impressed. But I feel we should channel this energy to other areas like the roads too, like the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is one of the busiest.
Somebody made a comment on that.
I mean, airports are not more important than the roads.
If not the busiest road in Lagos, I believe government should hasten up and speed up work on that road and so many other important and vital roads in Nigeria.
It's amazing how this discussion veered off from the airports to the roads.
To the roads,
to show you how important the roads are. After all, many more people actually use the roads than
airports. And I believe government should begin to look at that and give us a very good Lagos-Ibadan
Now,
Express
the terminal building, Fola, we'll have to let you go before we continue and round off then. The terminal building that the Vice President talked about, finishing touches on that, is it going to affect travel comfort in any way?
I think somehow it will affect travel comfort, but it's not going to be pronounced in the sense that it's just they finish with some of the areas, just have some little fittings to do, like the elevator. And I'm shocked that the Abuja airport never had an elevator. Wow. So government is building that, and I was impressed when I saw it. I think that should be, that should be done within the couple of days.
Our guest yesterday mentioned something about other airports. Now that we have Abuja Airport fixed, what about the other 20-something airports?
I think they are doing the
Are
same thing.
we going to wait until it's this fire brigade approach again?
I think yes, we're used to fire brigade approach. You know, the Lagos airport is under repairs now, and I believe possibly maybe because of this certification, you know, no Nigerian airport is certified, but airports, Lagos and Abuja. Lagos will be the first to be certified next month. Okay. So it's a plus to Nigeria. Abuja will follow. Abuja should have come first, but because of the renovation, the work they did on that runway.
All right, we're wrapping up this show now, but we understand some international airlines wouldn't even sell tickets in Naira anymore. They want it in dollars.
I think they do that. They did that some months ago, maybe last year when we had problem with Forex. But now I think they are selling in Naira.
Okay. Yes. And this A350 aircraft,
the
first of its kind.
The best in Africa. That aircraft is less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
Is the latest technology. Is the latest technology in town now in the whole world.
Okay, so things are looking good for Nigeria's aviation
really?
sector?
The aviation industry in Nigeria is really picking up. I mean, I'm really impressed with what they have done. Maybe because we have an expert, a pilot who knows his onion, and that's why we're getting it.
Says something. All right, aviation editor, New Telegraph, Wole Shadari. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
TVC Breakfast.